Welcome to Midway Minute, everybody. I'm Scott Coral. He is Kevin Kadick. And remember, hit the subscribe button if you're watching us on YouTube, and then head on over to the website, midwayminute.win, and subscribe to our newsletter. Kevin, the Bears take on the Saints at Soldier Field this Sunday, and maybe the big story of it all is going to be the weather.
Yeah.
38 degrees at kickoff, 35 by the end of the game. That, my friend, is bear weather.
Yeah, I don't know if that we have a team capable of playing in bear weather, right? This offensive line is decimated. They can't run the football. There's not going to be anyone in the stands, so I'm not exactly sure what this means for the Bears. If I'm the Saints, I'm thinking, okay, if you're going to have bear weather, this is the time to do it.
Well, let's look at Drew Brees. He is 4-5 in games in his career when the temperature is 40 degrees or below. And he hasn't played in one since 2018, but he's only played in two since 2011.
Yeah.
3 games out of that 4-5, were against the Bears in 2006, 2007, and 2008, and he lost all 3. Now, granted, this is 2020, completely different team.
Yeah.
But Brees doesn't fare so well against better defenses when it comes to cold weather.
Well, now we see why Tom Brady went down to Tampa Bay instead of extending his career in a cold weather environment. 2 or 3 weeks ago, I thought, great, we've got another 40-plus quarterback coming into Soldier Field. The Bears will do to him what they did to Brady on Thursday night at the beginning of October. It's really hard to see this, see that happening again, just because the Bears have so many injuries. And coming off last week's game with so many problems on offense, Brees is going to struggle, and it's going to be tough to move the ball, and it's going to be cold and wet and whatever else you want to throw at it. But at the end of the day, I have to think that Brees is capable of throwing up 24 points. And if he throws up 24 points, the Saints are going to win. Flat out.
I mean, that is a possibility. The question is, how well will the Bears defense want to rebound after their not great performance against the Rams? Now, granted, in the Matt Nagy era, they are 4-1 in games that are 40 degrees or less at Soldier Field. The only loss in that, let's just get it out of the way now, double doink.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's out of the way. They've won their other 4. The offense, it's been they only average about 22 points a game in those games, but the defense is averaging only allowing 15 points, and they have 11 interceptions in those 5 games. So maybe the defense pulls one out here against Drew Brees and the Saints.
I just don't see it, Scott. I mean, just with so many absences and so many people dinged up on that offensive line that wasn't great to begin with. Ryan Pace has not brought in anybody to really bolster that. I just can't see this Bears scoring more than 10 or 13 points. Let me tell you this, too. If you had told the Fox executives at the beginning of the season that you'd be getting a 5-2 Bears team against a 4-2 Saints team the first week of November at Soldier Field, I think they would have loved it. But I think this is going to be a pretty ugly game, and probably maybe one that's not really suited for that late afternoon window.
And that's possible. I mean, you mentioned the offensive line, and Cody Whitehair is officially out. So Sam Mustipher, the undrafted free agent out of Notre Dame, is going to take his place. Here's a question for you, Kevin. Let's see if you know this. Who's going to be Mustipher's backup if he goes down? Do you know?
I don't. Should I?
You probably shouldn't, because here's the thing: if he does go down, you know that the Bears having any chance of winning is up in flames. But his name is Dieter Easlin.
Well, I actually have to admit, I didn't know who Sam Mustipher was before this week. I don't know if that makes me a bad or uninformed newsletter writer, but my knowledge of the Bears roster did not go that deep.
And that's okay. Dieter Easlin is the backup, so God bless us all if he has to come in the game. So, one thing that the Bears are going to want to.
I will say this. I will say this, Scott. This offensive line has struggled. They've tried to get some help. So, what's the really worst that can happen with this stuff? We already know kind of what the baseline is for that Bears offensive line, and it's not great. So, really, it's kind of only going up from here, right?
Well, you'd like to think that, but we're talking about, obviously, we just mentioned Cody Whitehair is out, Allen Robinson is doubtful because he's still in concussion protocol. So we don't know if he's going to play. He might be out of it by Sunday, but still, Cordero Patterson has been limited. How does any of this change how Matt Nagy calls plays against a New Orleans Saints team that a lot of people say has a really good defense?
Yeah. I just think, and then you got Sean Payton versus Matt Nagy, and you're going to take Payton 100 times out of 100. So I think it's kind of crazy. Let's get to predictions. On last week's video, we had a lot of people leaving predictions in the comments. I really thought that was awesome. We had some good back and forth. So if you're watching this and you want to leave a comment with what you think the score is, I think that'd be pretty awesome. Scott, what's your prediction?
Well, I think the Saints are going to use a heavy dose of Alvin Kamara. It's going to be pretty ugly. We are talking about a running back who right now leads all players, regardless of position, for receiving grade by PFF. And then he leads everybody with 137.3 yards per game, all purpose. So I think it's going to be Saints 27, Bears 17. I was right last week, not because I was trying, but because I was just happened to be right. I think I'm going to be right this week, unfortunately. But I think it's going to be a heavy dose of Kamara, and I don't think they're going to need to use Brees as much as people think.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I think Peyton does outwit Nagy. I don't think they get up to 27. They don't have Johnny Hecker to win the field position battle for them, so I think the Bears' offense does limit them somewhat, but not enough. I've got Saints 21, Bears 13.
All right. Well, there you have it. Again, for those of you that are watching this on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button. And those of you that are not, hey, head on over to midwayminute.win, sign up for our newsletter, and become one of our super friends. We'll see you guys on Monday.